Hello, everybody. So, what I've done is I've decided to release this training. This is some training that I delivered last night in my private group. I run a coaching program for financial service professionals, and we do a live Zoom call once a week where myself and my other two coaches we all share best practice, and we share some knowledge, really, some training, and it's also a time for everybody to kind of get their coaching done live, so they can ask any questions about what they're stuck with. Because with half of the program is an online system where they work through the video modules, so it's kind of their time to ask any questions and get any guidance, or it's just their time to lean on us for whatever they need us for, really. And like I say, we deliver some training as well. So this is a training that I delivered last night. It's about the title of it is how to think like a billionaire. So it's about productivity and really kind of delegating things and just kind of taking as much off your plate as possible, because generally speaking, it's a problem that I see a lot across financial service professionals. They're working really hard, doing a lot of work, but it's not really productive work. It's not really getting them any closer to where they want to be. So it's all about kind of allocating the time better, really, into things that really do move the needle in the business, rather than the menial tasks that don't really get them any further to where they want to go, and they can be outsourced or delegated or just kind of just got rid of completely. So yeah, so I'll pull up the slides now. I'll share the screen with you, and yeah, and we can go through it. Go in 2 seconds. Okay, so as I said, titles think like a billionaire. So it's productivity hacks then they're used basically. That billionaires use to remove themselves from the business and buys them time. So we're also going to cover something called the Vilfredo Pareto's 80-20 rule and essentialism. So this is what we're going to cover then. So an intro, we're going to, like I say, dig a bit deeper into the billionaire mindset, really, and thinking like a billionaire. Are you productive, or are you just busy? That's a good question to ask yourself, and it takes stepping back from your business to really determine that, really, and taking an outsider perspective of it. The 80-20 rule. So that's the Pareto rule, which I just alluded to on the intro there. We'll go into that. I'll explain more of that when we get to it. My lean business model then. So this is a bit about me and how this information that I'm now delivering to you has helped me in my business. It's really kind of expedited the growth of my business in recent years by me putting these things into action. We're going to cover a bit about throughput and how to make sure the throughput is flowing, and it's all kind of all the interconnecting parts of the business are all in sync and working together. And then some actionable tips that you can take away from this at the end, and really to action inside your business to make these kind of improvements that have worked for me. Okay, so yeah, let's get stuck into it then. So 660,000 new startups are registered in the UK every year then, but 20% of those don't make it past year one. And then 60% go bust in the first 3 years. So it's quite stark, that those figures there. There's quite a big drop off there, isn't there? Wouldn't you agree that a lot of these businesses that are starting up are failing pretty quick? And you've got to ask yourself why. And the overwhelming kind of answer, obviously there are a lot of different answers, but generally speaking, the main answer is it's the business owners fail to apply and prioritize the skills that matter inside their business. So the number one skill, the thing that all businesses need is revenue. If they've not got revenue, obviously you've not got a business. So that's the most important aspect of any business, is the acquisition. It's getting the revenue in. It's having the skills to be able to do that. Because a lot of businesses, they'll start because they have a business owners start businesses, should I say, because they've got a passion in something. Like it could be that they're a good chef and they really their food passion is their food, so they want to own a restaurant, and they've always had a dream to own a restaurant or a bar. my background is I've come from the club and bar scene. So I've spoke to a lot of people, and through my years in that industry, I've noticed that a lot of people have that passion, because everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people want to own a bar, don't they? They like look at that in life as a goal. But because they've got a passion for the scene, for the bar scene, but having a passion for something is one thing, and having that skill to be able to, like, if you're a chef, is one thing, but then it's not enough just to have that. You need to have the other side of it, which is the ability to produce revenue and go out there and market your business and get sales and get money in the till. So so that's the main reason why businesses fail, because they don't prioritize the things that really move the needle in the business. So this was a quote by Dwight Eisenhower then. So what is important is rarely urgent, and what is urgent is rarely important. Just want you to think about that for a moment. So think like a billionaire then. So we're going to dig a bit deeper into billionaires and what they spend their time on, really, because we can all take a note from billionaires, because they've got it sorted at the end of the day, haven't they? They've made a lot of money. They kind of sit back a bit. They can take themselves out of their business. They're not working on the nitty gritty day-to-day stuff. They're obviously allocating that to free up their time. So it's thinking about think about that really, and what they focus on. What they're focused on is probably bringing new business in, but the right business, and not just kind of any business. And so time is their most valuable asset. They're a billionaire. They've got plenty of cash, plenty of money. So, and they can produce money, but they can't produce more time. They've got 24 hours in a day, same as you and I. So just a few questions there. So are they reactively replying to emails all day, scrolling on social media, or spending hours dealing with low value tasks, or ringing through rubbish leads, for example, which is a lot of financial service professionals, a lot of those guys are spending time doing that. And many billionaires don't even have an email. They don't want to put themselves out there, their contact details out there. They don't want people ringing them. They don't want people emailing them. They don't want people taking their time, because they say time is the most important asset that they have. So this is a contrast then between the two. So this is the new age billionaire, or the new age advisor, or the billionaire of how they kind of operate the business. So how they do it is that they're super selective on who they work with. They say no more than they say yes. They look to remove things off the plate rather than adding things to it. They work on their business rather than in their business, which is the key difference there. And they're productive with the time, which allows them to take time away from the business. So they can sit on a beach for 2 weeks and it won't make any difference to the business. It'll still run in the same way as it would if they were in the business. But that's, to me, that's a goal of business, is to be able to do that, to take a step back and let it operate in the same way, is an effective way as what it would do if you were in it. So that's the new age way of doing things then. So the billionaire way, or the new age way, the new kind of way that we want to be operating our business. And the old school way of doing things then is that the old school advisor, or the old school business owner, would take on any bit of work that they can get their hands on. They say yes to every opportunity that's handed to them. They work long hours on low value tasks, and this is the key element to it. They'll live unfulfilled lives, as they rarely get time to spend with the family or friends, or do the things that they want to do in life. Because at the end of the day, that's why a lot of us become self-employed, is because we want our time back. We want freedom. So, and if you've not got that, then you become a slave to your business, and that's the last thing that you want to do. So working in your business then and not on your business could be a fatal mistake. So being busy is not the same as being productive. So yeah, this is the number one reason why businesses fail, because the people are just working too hard in the business and not being productive. So the Pareto principle and the 80-20 rule. So the Pareto principle states that for many outcomes, roughly 80% of the consequences come from 20% of the causes. So other names for this principle are the 80-20 rule or the law of vital few. So just to dig a bit deeper into that then. So Pareto then, he was an Italian sociologist and economist who during his studies realized that in general, 80% of the nation's income was in the hands of only 20% of the population. Extrapolating this concept, Pareto defined the rules to become known as the Pareto 80-20 rule, which can be summarized as follows. So 80% of results are produced from 20% of causes. So here are some of Pareto's 80-20 examples. So 20% of criminals commit 80% of crimes, 20% of drivers cause 80% of traffic accidents, 80% of pollution originates from 20% of factories, 20% of companies' products represent 80% of sales, 20% of employees are responsible for 80% of the results, 20% of students have grades of 80% or higher, and so on. So why does this matter then? Why am I going on about this? So in business then, the goal of 80-20, the 80-20 rule is to identify the inputs that are most productive in the business and make those inputs a priority. So in business then, it's the little stuff that kills the big stuff. So the key is to get rid of the little stuff and put your time into doing the things that really move the needle in your business. So this is a bit about my model then, my story as to how this has helped me, this essentialism and all that we're talking about now. So 2 years ago, I was stressed and overworked then. So I was running 2 marketing agencies, each with its own set of demanding clients and business activities. So I was running a social media agency for bars and restaurants, and another one for just a generalist one, which served all sorts of different companies, mainly financial services, but it was a mixed bag. There was lots of different kind of industries in there. So all these, well, both these agencies had multiple clients, obviously. So I was getting pulled from pillar to post by these clients, obviously demanding clients. And I was doing a lot, really. There's a lot going off, really. A lot going off in my brain. And this is what I felt like at times. And I didn't have much time to do anything than sit and work. So the thing for me was, I will come back to that. So the things I was doing then, like this is a list of the activities that I was doing daily. So I was checking emails, researching new industries, because like I say, when I took on a new client or new industry, I'd have to spend a lot of time researching that industry, finding out what the pain points are of their consumer and their desires and things. So that was taking a lot of time up. What I've missed off there is writing proposals as well, because when I had a prospect in mind that was close to working with me, they'd ask for a proposal. So I'd write a 5-page proposal out, which took like best part of half a day to do. I was running Facebook ads for multiple clients. So again, I'm multiple industries as well. So again, that's running Facebook ads is a big job for any one person to do for multiple industries and multiple clients as well, because they all needed their own ads writing. And so I was copywriting for every single ad. I was finding the images built in, because I do graphic design as well. So I'd be making the creatives, and coming up with the ad angles, and yeah, it's a lot of work just for one business, let alone multiple businesses, which is what I was doing in multiple industries. I was going to meetings, traveling around. I live in the north of England, in South Yorkshire, so I was traveling all over the country, going down to Southampton and things, up northeast for client meetings where that'd take a full day just to go and meet someone. And so yeah, I was building websites as well, which was taking up a lot of time. You've got demanding clients there again. Talking with partners, because I outsourced a lot of the work from my digital marketing agencies. So I'd have to, obviously the client had explained what needed doing to me, and then I'd have to go and relay it back onto them, and going back and forth. So yeah, that was taking a lot of time. designing logos. So as I mentioned before, I did graphic design as well. So I was designing logos, business cards, posters, flyers. I was also doing one-to-one coaching as well, so digital marketing coaching. So I was traveling around doing that as well, all over the country. So again, that was taking a full day out of my calendar. And then I was posting on social media as well, because I was doing the done for you digital marketing, where I'd be posting content on businesses, Facebook's, LinkedIn, Twitter. I did Instagram as well. So I was posting on all these platforms, and then all those platforms needed their own specific content for each platform. So I was producing like for those different platforms, and then I was producing it for every different client as well. So all in different industries. So as you can imagine, that's again a job in itself. And I was doing all this myself, kind of sat working here 12 hours a day, which it wasn't fun. It was just too much. So I had to take a step back then and look long and hard at my business model. So I had to think to myself, is there a different way of doing this? Because this is just not working. I couldn't take any more on because I was working too much. So I was kind of stuck. So what I did was, if I go back to here, so this is the throughput of my business then. So obviously it's a tap, but it's an analogy where this is obviously the business, like a high level overview of it. Breaking that down into its constituent parts, we've got the acquisition stage, the conversion, and the value delivery. So for the throughput to become right through and come out the other end, there needs to be no bottlenecks in the fact that all these need to be working in sync and in harmony for it to allow the throughput to get through all the way through and become an actual business at the end of it and revenue. So I had to look at this to find out what I could improve on. Was it the acquisition? Was it the conversion? Was it the value delivery? So for me, the main bottleneck that stopped the throughput was the value delivery, because I was working hard at doing this stuff and it was taking all my time up. So the actual delivery of the service was the thing that I couldn't take any further. I was stuck at like a revenue. I think it was like $2,000. I was stuck at $2,000 per month revenue wise, and I just couldn't get over that because I couldn't take on any more work. I physically couldn't do any more. So I was like at capacity. So that was the thing that I needed to look at. My acquisition could have improved as well, because I was just kind of relying on referrals at that point. But that was the main thing that I needed to look at, the value delivery. So what I had to do is think about it, and I thought to myself, what can I kind of get rid of out of these, or what can I change? So, or what do I like? What I don't like doing? So one of the main things I liked to do was do the one-to-one coaching there, and that was probably the most profitable aspect of the business. If I wasn't spending a full day doing it, if I wasn't spending a load of petrol to get where I need to do and buy my lunch, buy a beer, and yeah, it's just kind of. But I did enjoy doing that aspect of it. So obviously, in this day and age, it doesn't have to be me in the flesh delivering this information. I can put all this information into a productized package online through an online course, and that would kind of, once I've done the content for the course, which is just teaching what I do for these clients, I thought to myself, well, hopefully a lot of these and more people will buy the program and kind of learn for themselves rather than having me doing it, which it does have its benefits to doing it yourself. You've got the more personal side of things rather than a marketing agency putting stuff out, which kind of lacks that personal element to it. So yeah, that's one of the things that I thought, because obviously doing that would take a lot of this out of the equation, because I could just package it all up. Well, not all of this, but a lot of this, like the Facebook ad stuff. I could teach them what I was doing for them. And so that'd take that off my plate. Coming up with offers, obviously that'd take that off my plate, because the client would be doing that themselves. I wouldn't need to research any new industries. So I wouldn't need to go to client meetings, and I wouldn't really need to speak to clients. So a lot of this stuff I could just ditch completely. Well, not ditch completely. I'll just change the format of it. I did ditch some stuff completely, like designing logos, business cards, posters, flyers. It's just yeah, that took up a lot of time because you get really demanding clients who would want multiple changes, and they wouldn't send all the changes in one email. They'd wait for me to change it, and I'd save that, get it into a presentable state, send them back, and then they'd say, "Oh, just change this one little thing," and then I'd send it back, and then they'd say, "Oh, just one last thing." And it took, like, I was doing logos for like I think 70 quid, and sometimes it'd take me like 8 hours, a full day to do it. It was just like, it's just not worth the time, and it's stressful as well doing that. So yeah, I got rid of that. Got rid of building the websites because, again, same, you get clients who are picky about things and really kind of grind on you. So yeah, so I got rid of a lot of this stuff, and I put a lot of it into a product-sized package, like I say, into an online course where the other benefit to that is it's a lot scalable. It's a lot more scalable than this. Like I said, at that point that I was at my capacity, I couldn't get over that 2K stage. So because I couldn't physically go out and take on any more work or go out to do any more one-to-one coaching because I was at capacity. But the beauty of the online course model is that it can be scaled. I can sell that to thousands of people, millions of people even, and it's not really taking any more time off my plate. So yeah, so it's a lean model. So this is now. So yeah, I was just saying there. So I was stressed, and I had to ask myself the question as to why I became self-employed in the first place. I have to go back to my goals, my main goal out of business, which was freedom, really, and not being a slave to my business, which is what I was. I was like this guy here. I was just being pulled from pillar to post from it. So since I made these changes, then, so now all in my business, all I do is generate sales calls. I conduct sales calls. I provide weekly coaching to my coaching clients through the program, and produce new training material for it. And I also do Done For You, where I post on Facebook for my financial service clients. So that's a lot easier, just dealing with one platform and one industry. So now I've got a little more time, free time, to improve the business, to improve my course, to do what I want with, which is I've got my own hobbies and things. I like to box. I like to train at the gym. I like to go for walks. I'm quite an active person. So before, I just couldn't do that. So the result of it is that my revenue has gone up because I couldn't get over that 10K, 2K a month limit. Now I'm way above that. Friends, free time is up. Relationships have improved because I can spend more time seeing my friends, seeing my kids, and actually spending the quality time with my kids rather than being with them but not being with them, if you know what I mean. If I could be on the phone to a client or texting a client, or now I don't really have that. I've got set times when I deal with my coaching clients, which is on my calls. So I don't really have that anymore. Health and fitness has improved because, like I said, I can go out and do these hobbies where we're not in lockdown. And my happiness has improved, which again is the ultimate goal, right? Everybody wants to be happy. And this has really helped me become happier because I've got my life back. I can do what the reason why I became self-employed. I've got that back now, and I can do all these things. I'm doing less, and my revenue is grown exponentially. So essentialism, then. So basically, then, this is about just removing things that aren't essential to your goal. It all kind of stems down to what your goal is. So it's important that you clearly define what that is when you start running a business in any industry. So you cannot overestimate the unimportance of practically everything. That's what John C. Maxwell said. Okay, so I've got a video here. I just want you to watch. Just bear with me a second. Just pull it up.
I've spent the last 15 years pretty obsessed by a single question, which is, what is it? that holds capable, driven people from breaking through to the next level? And the answer to that question, to my great surprise, is success. I first observed this working with executive teams in Silicon Valley, where I noticed that when they were focused on a few things, it led to success. But success breeded so many opportunities and options that diffused the very focus that led to success in the first place. And so, exaggerating the point in order to make it, I found that success becomes a catalyst for failure, because it leads to what Jim Collins called the undisciplined pursuit of more. The antidote to that problem is the disciplined pursuit of less but better. That means exploring the very critical things you want to pursue and being willing to then, number 2, eliminate the rest, and number 3, build a platform for effortless execution so that doing what is essential becomes the default position, not just the rare occasion. My position is that when people really get a chance to think and have the space, that they can quite easily discern between the things that are essential to them, important to them, and those things that are not. The problem is not our ability to discern, it's that we don't have the space to take the time to discern. Once we have that perspective, we can think through it. So my position is that we need to develop a routine that enables that space to think. In a world where we have so much information, we need more time to think and process it, not less. And so, one CEO that I interviewed for the book has 2 hours on his calendar every day, broken up into half-hour segments, so that he has this space to stop, to turn everything off, to think, to see the bigger picture. I think we could all do something similar to that. The idea for many people of saying no to a senior leader, to even family members and so on, is so unthinkable, they just don't even experiment with it. So they end up being a novice with no. They just want to avoid this like the plague. But what I've found is that essentialists practice and learn and develop this skill. Kay Krill is the CEO of Loft and the Ann Taylor brand. And she said that years ago she was really bad at saying no. And somebody came to her mentor and said, look, you've got to learn to get rid of all of these people and commitments that don't mean anything to you, because they'll rob you of the things that really do. And she said that because she got that feedback, she did learn over the years how to say no, how to push back gracefully, sensibly, but unapologetically. And now she says she's very good at it. And it saved her so many wasted hours, wasted days, wasted commitments, because she actually learned to develop a repertoire for saying no. One of the executives that I interviewed for the book, because he was trying to be a good citizen to his new company, ended up saying yes to almost everything. And his stress was going up, the quality of work was going down, and so he started to, with an experiment, saying no more often, being more selective. And what he found was that the meaning of his work was going up, the value of his work to the company was going up, his stress was going down, and he ended up with one of the best performance evaluations of his career and one of the largest bonuses of his career. In that little story, there is the argument for essentialism, that by focusing on the few things that are really essential, we're actually able to make a more valuable contribution. I think becoming an essentialist is not an easy thing. I certainly think it's a revolutionary thing. You find yourself saying no when other people are saying yes. You're going to be saying yes when other people are saying no. But in the end, in the final analysis, anything less than the disciplined pursuit of the essential will lead to the undisciplined pursuit of the non-essential. And that's a price I don't think many of us would deliberately choose.
Okay, so that was Greg McKeown. He's written a book on essentialism. So it's worth checking that out. His book is available on Audible. I've got it on Audible. I listen to books, find it a lot easier to consume books in that way. But obviously the paper version is available as well. But it's worth checking that out. So it's kind of all about saying no more often and really getting used to saying no unapologetically, and really not kind of feel yourself being pulled in different directions where you don't want to go. So this next slide then is all about productivity and breaking it down into its constituent parts. So when we look at productivity, then basically what it is it's outputs divided by inputs. So we put in things in to get stuff out, to get an output, and the things we're putting in are money, time, and energy. So these three resources that we have are finite; they're very limited. So we need to really allocate those wisely and think long and hard about what we're doing rather than just doing it and not thinking about it. So it's about prioritizing the things that are really kind of making the difference in your business, and getting rid of the stuff that isn't. So this diagram then, this represents a day. So this one kind of, this arrow, that represents one unit of time that you have in a day. So generally speaking, you've got 16 hours in a day. So that's one of your units of energy, units of time. So it depends on what you're doing in the day. A lot of people are doing this. So they're going 16 different directions. They're spending 16 hours doing 16 different activities, 16 different things. So that's, and you're not really gaining, you're not getting anywhere with that model, that system. You're moving an inch in 16 directions, when really you want to go miles in one or two. So the flip side of that is to, like I said, just prioritize really one direction. Or it might not be one, it might be two, it might be three, it might be four, but it won't be 16, because you're just not going to get anywhere if you're spreading yourself that thinly. So the idea is just to prioritize the things that really move the needle in the business, and really get good at those things and prioritize those things. Like going back to my example, mine was the coaching element of it. That was something that I enjoyed, and B, it really moved the needle in my business. It created a lot of revenue. So my idea was just to focus on that one thing, because so many businesses nowadays have hundreds of different products, hundreds of different services, and it kind of, again, it's just spreading yourself really thinly, when you could be just looking at that and finding which of the services are really moving the needle in the business, which are the things you enjoy doing the most, and you get the best revenue from, and really becoming a specialist in that service, and being known for that service, and being the go-to person for it. Because when you do that, when you become a specialist in it, obviously your skills improve on that service, and you provide a better service to your clients. So everybody's happy, and that expedites the growth of your business, because you're providing a better service. So, but most financial service pros then are like this lady here, like I was, being pulled in every direction, stressed out, too much work for not enough payback, not enough revenue. So the main thing then is to keep the main thing. Like I said, in my example, my main thing was the coaching. So I put all my effort into that thing, and it's really helped grow my business. So this is an activity that you can all do now then. So basically, it is to work out the value of your time. So how you could do that is by working out how many hours you work in a week, and then finding out how much you earn in a week. So if you divide those two together, you get your hourly rate. So what's the point of knowing that then? So the point of knowing that is that you know then how much your time is worth, how much an hour of your time is worth. So you can start to play on that and look at what you're doing, and do an exercise, which I'll explain in a minute, which there's some worksheets available for download, where you can look at your time and see where it's going, and you can outsource that time if it's those activities. So say, for example, if you could work this out for your home activities, like the cleaning, you might spend an hour cleaning up, cleaning the house. So if you think to yourself, if you do 40 hours a week and you're on 3K a week, that results in 75 quid an hour. So if you think to yourself, this hour that I'm spending cleaning up, this is costing me £75, is there a way that I can outsource it to a cleaner for 20, which obviously there is. And when you do that, you're saving yourself £55. I know the old traditional way of looking at services like cleaning, my parents used to drill it into me that it's a waste of money. Anything you can do yourself, you do it. No point spending money on getting someone else to do it. But in reality, if you say if you're earning more than £20 an hour, it's in your interest to outsource that and buy back that hour, and you're saving £55. So the other exercise, which is available available as a download below in the comments, is a sheet where you can go through and figure out exactly where your time's going. So you can do it over a week and fill in this form as to what you're doing every hour of the day, of your waking day. And if you do that, you can look at it and find out exactly what it is. Like, you might be spending an hour a day on your phone. And then if you add that up over a week, that's 7 hours. That's like a full day that you've kind of just wasted, but you wouldn't really have realized by just doing it, because you need to take a step back and look at it all there to find that out, because you don't think much about it. You think, oh, half an hour here, half an hour there, that's an hour a day, 7 hours a week. It's a lot of time. If you work that out over the month, over the year, and you can get that time back by just auditing it and auditing your business. And then on the flip side, looking at the activities that you've done which have really moved the needle in the business and really kind of created revenue, and focus on those activities and outsource the things that you're spending time on, which is, you could be getting it cheaper than your hourly rate. So yeah, there's just some free tasks for you to do there, some free downloads. So the key element to this training, the key takeaway that I want you to take from this, is the fact that it is possible to get more with less. I'm a perfect example of that. So yeah, hopefully you can take something from that. And yeah, I appreciate your time. If you've got any questions, stick them in the comments. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, then please do. I post a lot of content out for financial service professionals on how to grow the business and how to create revenue. Yeah, and like and share. Thank you very much for your time.